Tutor Ayo, the EDU233, and in today's tutorial, it's going to be a continuation of the course EDU233. It's all about the teaching method, and we're going to be particular taking our bearing from what we call the field trip. With this being said, let's just straight into it. So we have EDU233, and I'm going to be talking about field trip. Now, just a moment, I'm trying to check this. Okay, I think it's better off this way. Now, the field trip is a method that involves taking learners out on excursion. Okay, it involves taking learners out on an excursion outside the classroom for the purpose of making relevant observation, okay, to obtain technological and vocational information. Now, this is the thing. The thing here is that with field trip, we have taken the learners out on an excursion. Okay, outside the classroom. This is learning outside, formal learning outside the classroom. Okay, taking the students outside, okay, or learners outside the classroom in order to make relevant observation. To make relevant observation, okay, this relevant observation is for the purpose of obtaining technological and vocational information. Now, the field trip as a method can be used in teaching subjects like the business studies, science, and some art subjects. Basically, let's say for example, business studies, you take a set of students to an organization that does business. Basically, take them to offices, check out their stationaries, the things they use, how they communicate to the customers, the workflow and sequence of their workflow. All right, it's one thing they observe on hand. I see it as on hand learning. All right, it's not just learning from the book. They are seeing how things are being done. All right, witnessing how things are being done. So now it has some advantages, and so it does have some disadvantages. Now let's talk about the advantages. Now we have, it allows students to engage fully in activities of the study. Okay, when they see, after learning the theoretical part, now they are seeing the real thing that they have been learned in the classroom. So it allows full engagement. All right, full engagement. It also sharpens. It sharpens the student's ability, observational ability. Excuse me. it sharpens the students' observational ability. Okay, now it also helps to add reality and verify how the area of coverage operates in practice. All right, I love this a lot. Verifies reality. So it's not just about what has been taught in the class. All right, it's seeing how it's been done realistically. All right, so we have disadvantages. Arranging a good field trip necessitates careful planning. All right, not only does it consume amount, all right, time, and it's also expensive. Okay, advantage and disadvantages. So we have this ADV, we have series of planning, we have time consuming, all right, and it's quite expensive. Okay, so we have that as that. Now let's look at another method. Field trip is one of the methods, all right, one of the teaching methods. There are a series of them. So let's consider some other methods too as well. We have the individual instructional method. Individual instructional method. Instructional method. In this method, a program instruction in which the learning, it is a program instruction, a programmed instruction. The instruction here has been programmed. All right, and the learners here, learning programs are presented in carefully structured steps, and the steps depend on individual students. Now, first, it is a programmed instruction. All right, that has been codified, meaning that this is what is to be done. It shouldn't be changed. All right, series of steps, and it's a carefully structured. Where programs are presented in carefully structured steps. All right, in this teaching method, programs are presented in the carefully structured steps. All right, unlike the field trip that requires you taking them out, here it's a different thing entirely. Now, some of the advantages here is that it allows the student to go at his own pace. Now, this method is student eccentric. It is individual eccentric, meaning that these steps depend on the individual student. If you don't make progress, you are not going. You must make progress. That's why it is programmed. If a student hasn't gotten to a certain level, it cannot be promoted. If he has not gotten to a certain space, meet up with certain requirements, it cannot move forward. All right, so it is students focused. Now let's look at some of the advantages. Here, It allows students to go at his own pace. Allow students to go at his own pace. Okay? It makes students to participate. It gives teacher the quick knowledge of individual students. All right? Engagements. Level is students' participation. And we have quick knowledge of students, all right, by teachers. Okay, it helps the teachers to quickly understand that, okay, it seems like this student is a fast learner, this student is a slow learner. So teachers can quickly observe that in this method. Now, some disadvantages. Okay, it is time consuming. All right, because students are different. All right, individuals are different. Time consuming, because it's a student's thing. If students study at their own pace, okay. Now, it's also highly demanding of equipment and materials. As well, it requires very little or no interaction among the students. It doesn't give room for teamwork. Among students. All right, and 3, highly, all right, should I use what highly sophisticated? Requires a lot of materials and equipment. Also, we have the laboratory method. The laboratory method. This is an activity method designed to be carried out by an individual student or a group of students for the purpose of making personal observation from experiments. All right, the laboratory method has to do with experimentation. All right. Laboratory method has to do with observation from experimentation. Observation from experimentation. All right, students get to make their individual observation at the expense of carrying out an experiment. And some of the advantages here are learning through the method extends and reinforces theoretical learning, all right, reality. So let's see ADV. We have theoretical, all right, theoretical learning. It's experiment, theoretical learning. And we have, it offers students the opportunity to develop scientific attitudes. All right, development of scientific attitude. Okay, and some of the disadvantages are it can be expensive, time consuming, and skills which result from exposure. All right, it is inefficient. All right, we have time consuming. All right, we have it is expensive to run, and we have inefficient. All right, because not all students is acquainted with use of the laboratory. All right, so it's kind of inefficient. Okay, so we have that as that. Now we have what we call inductive and deductive method. Okay, now when we say inductive, what are we talking about? Inductive. Okay, the inductive method of teaching begins with particular examples, and from the examinations of the example, definitions are being established. Now the teacher tries to draw out from the students the already acquired knowledge. So let me erase the board so we can expatiate on that. Okay. Now, the inductive method, this method, the teacher draws out from the student's already acquired knowledge. Okay, this is done through questioning. All right, teachers try to relate knowledge gained, all right, in one subject area through descriptions and similarities. Now let's take this. Teachers draw out, okay, from the student already acquired knowledge, and this is done through, all right, questioning. All right, it's more of probably in an already started course, all right, asking about what the student might have learned in the previous classes, all right, trying to refresh their memory of something that they have been taught. Okay, that is more of inductive, and there are some characteristics that this method possesses. So some of them are: it proceeds from the knowledge of known to the unknown. All right, so we have characteristics proceeds from the knowledge of known to the unknown. Basically, it serves as a foundation, all right, for learning new things. But this foundation is built upon what has been learned previously. All right. It moves from concrete to abstract. Okay. It is an analytic method. All right. From concrete to abstract. Okay, and it's also an analytical process. Now, speaking of the deductive, in the deductive method, a statement or a rule or formula is being given. From this rule, the teacher begins to work back to a particular case. For example, formulas in mathematics. That is more of the deductive. So we have deductive, all right, that has to do with statement or rules of formula. Statements, the use of statements, rules, all right, or formula. All right, and we use mathematics as a good example of that. And the characteristics to this is that it starts from the general rule and proceed to a particular, all right, to a particular one. So characteristics from general rule to particular one. And it is what? It is a method of instruction whereby the general rule is at first phase. All right, it proceeds from indefinite to definite. All right, proceeds from what we call indefinite, okay, indefinite to definite. Okay. So we have that as that. Also, something is called open education. And open education is a system of education which attempts to make education accessible. Like the word open, meaning that it is accessible. All right. When there is a barricade, there's an obstacle, all right, when there is a need for payment or subscription, then it's no longer open. But if it's open, that means it's free to all and accessible. So just add education to it. So the term open education now, we can say it's education resources or educational resources that it's free to all. All right. So open education is that system of education which attempts to make education accessible to all in a flexible mode. All right, such that learners can learn. So now look at the points. The point here is open education. We have free. No, let's not take it from there. It says it's a system of education that make education accessible. All right, a system of education that makes what? Makes education accessible. All right, to all. Accessible to all. All right, and it's very flexible. All right, flexibility, flexible to reach. So we have that as that. Okay, and there's something called questioning techniques. Okay. Now, when we say questioning techniques, as a teacher, as an instructor, as a tutor, whatever the case might be, the way you use questions with students can have a big effect on your lesson. All right, here are some tips, all right, to help you get most of your question. So now, what are the tips to questioning? Under questioning techniques now, questioning, all right, questioning techniques. So now, first, the first question you ask are very important. So start with a question on the board to focus them around curiosity. All right. So now you want to start with curious. All right. Questions. All right. Questions that they will puzzle on to solve. Curiosity questions, all right, that they have to think about for a while, then provide answers. We have the likes of a type of vegetable, a piece of furniture, a type of person. Now, secondly, give students time to answer. Time to answer. Okay? Allow students to help each other. Don't forget, they have to think. Allow them think. Let them ponder. Let them puzzle around it. Okay? Give them time to discuss, to think about it, and help each other. All right? Encourage others to suggest answers, as well as you refer your question, all right, or ask them a further question on this same question. All right. So also you need to use what is called question pause. Question pause. Now when we say question pause, call response approach, in the sense that question pause, you give the question and you take a pause, in the sense that after you have given the question and they ponder on it, give the student a break on this question. Now, let's say, for example, you ask the question like 1 plus 1 plus 2. Now, when you are observing question pause, you need to do something that is very important, which is reward. When I say reward, I don't mean reward in giving appreciation. I mean then word, right? It's not reward the origin of that question. So if your question was 1 plus 1, which is 2, then you can change it in the sense that you do 2 minus 1. That will give you 1. Still the same answer. All right. So if they were thinking narrowly in attempting the first question, the manner and the way they will now think to attempt this other question will change. They will like, okay, I think I need to take a break on this and let me approach this differently. Okay, so we have that as that. And I think on this note, we'll stop here for today. And in our next class, we'll be talking about the kinds of questions. We'll take it up from there. And in less than maybe hopefully 2 more classes on this course, we should be done. All right. And we should be moving to some other course. So thank you very much, everyone. I hope you have been able to get a thing or two in today's class. Do well to submit your notes to the appropriate quarters, and I look forward to seeing you all in subsequent tutorial. Bye-bye.